Hi guys, today we are going to discuss about software testing. Software testing. So first of all, what is a testing? What is a testing? Yes, testing means identify defects. Okay. Now my question is, what is a defect? What is a defect? Identify errors. Okay. Identify errors. What is an error? What is an error? So what is a testing? Bug. Okay. Bug. So what is the bug? So what is a defect? What is an error? What is a bug? Is there any difference between all these three? What is a testing? Testing means something is there. Is it properly working or not based on our requirement? That is called as a testing. Suppose here this marker is there. Is it working or not? Yes, if you can write something, is it working? That is called as some testing. Suppose this is there, duster. Is it properly working or not? You can rub it. Yes, it is also working. So testing means something is there. Is it properly working or not based on our requirements? That is called as a testing. Either it is to find out errors, defect, bug. All these are related to some application. But I am asking generally what is a testing? Generally what is a testing? Testing is something is there. Is it properly working or not based on our requirements? That is called as a testing. So come to the software testing. As per my concern, there are so many definitions are there. Verification and validation of an application, to identify an error in an application, to identify the defects in an application, or one application is there, is it properly working or not based on customer requirement. Multiple definitions are there for testing. But as per my concern, testing means verification and validation of an application. What is the testing? Verification and validation of an application. So what is verification and what is validation? What is the verification and what is validation? Verification means, is it working or not? Then what is the validation? No. Verification means whether one application is there, is it properly implemented or not? Whether the application is properly implemented or not, that is called as verification. Validation comes under, is it properly working or not? That is called as validation. Suppose this marker is there. Okay, by seeing this marker, okay, it is fine. Name is there, cap is there, everything is fine. Just I can see this. It is proper. That is called as verification. Is it working or not? We go for something writing on the board. That is comes under validation. Why? Because is it working or not? Compulsory we go for this validation part. So both verification and validation of an application is called as a software testing. This verification is also called as static testing. Static testing means without execution of application, find out mistake. Suppose if I am given this marker for you, okay, just we can verify it. Is there cap is there in this marker? No. So at the time of verification it is fails. There is no cap, no use. If everything is there, is it working or not? Then that we have to write something on the board. That is comes under validation. It is called as a dynamic testing. Dynamic means at the time of execution time only it is possible to identify the errors. So static means without executing application or programs, find out the mistakes in the application. That is called as your static testing. At the time of execution time of the application or programs only, we are able to identify the defects, or whatever errors, bugs, whatever it is, we will discuss later part. What is the defect, bug and everything, okay? Initial stage, find out the mistakes in application. That is called as a dynamic. So both verification and validation of an application is called as a testing. Now, come to the software. Testing means it is a general term. It is a general normal term. Suppose this pen is working or not, the fan is working or not, this light is working or not. How to check it? Simply we go to that, switch on. If it is okay, yes, it is working. So this is also called as a testing. Okay. In day-to-day activities also, testing plays very, very important role. If testing fails, product or whatever it is, everything will fail. So testing plays very, very important role in day-to-day life activities. Suppose if I want to buy a car, first we go for test drive or not? Yes, compulsory. If you want to buy a bike, first we go for the test drive. Why are you going for the test drive? So that is, suppose for the session, all of you came for the demo session. Why are you coming for the demo? It is also some testing. Now come to this software. So testing is, it is a general term, normal term. Come to the software. Next we will discuss about the testing. First we discuss about the software. What is a software? What is a software? Maximum so many guys they are telling that some collection of programs. Collection of programs is it a software? Suppose I am written some Java programs. In my D drive there are some 10-15 programs are there. Is it a software? No, there is some set of logic, instruction given to the system to perform a specific task. That is called as some software. Not the collection of programs is not a software. Some set of logic is there. If you are giving some instruction to the system, it will perform something. Okay. So first of all, we discuss how to develop this software. Why? Because once the development is completed, then only it is for the testing purpose. If there is no development, no testing. So how to develop a software? How to develop a software? Yes. How to develop a software? By writing program. Okay. So if I am given one requirement to the developer, directly they are writing the programs? No. They don't write directly the programs. So there is some life cycle is there. There is some life cycle is there. That life cycle is SDLC. Software is development life cycle. So SDLC describes it is a step-by-step execution process how to develop an application within the specified cost and time. It is a step-by-step execution process how to develop an application based on customer requirements within the specified cost and time. That is called as SDLC. All of you know about SDLC? No? No idea? Okay. So before going to software, I will ask one general example. How to construct a building? How to construct a building? How to construct it? Yes? How to construct a building? So directly you go for the basement, pillars and everything. So some minimum requirements are needed. Something requirements are there for the building. We don't want to directly go for the pillars and slabs, not like that. So there is some minimum requirements are there in this case of building. So what is the main thing? First one, main important thing is land is important. Yes. After that, material is important. Bricks, iron, cement, concrete, all the material, whatever it is, every material. After that, what are the requirements? Yes, manpower. Manpower is important. Workers. Any more? How to purchase land? We are going for kabja? No. So we want to? Yes. Money is required. So these are all the main requirements for the building. Land is important, material is important, money is important, manpower is important. So as a owner, it is our responsibility to gather all these requirements. Once it is completed, next one. What is the next one? Plan. Okay. Who will give the plan? Yes, engineer. AutoCAD engineer will give the plan. Suppose I want to construct a building, directly I go to the engineer, sir, I want to construct some building, give the plan. Simply will give the plan? He will give the plan? No. Something we want to specify, what is our land space and which type of building I want to construct. Either it is an individual house or it is a group house or it is a apartment. Which type of building we want to construct. Based on that only he will give the some plan. So next one is analysis. I will analyze with my family members and which type of building I want to construct. I can write here either individual house, group house, apartment, which type of building. Based on that, engineer will give the plan. That is the third phase. First one will gather the requirements and next one is analysis. Which type of building I want to construct. Third one is plan. Engineer will give the plan. Based on this plan, what is this plan? Blueprint of our building. Our building will be designed in the some paper. Blueprint of our building. Based on this plan, manpower workers are there. They will construct. Construction will start. While construction is going on, as a owner, what is my responsibility? Yes, I want to verify each and everything is properly going or not based on my requirements, or based on their requirement it is construction going or not. So either it is a daily base or 10 days or 1 week, we can verify our building. As a owner, that is my responsibility. So once all the construction is completed, after that next one, simply we can sell the building? No. So after construction, we can use that product. After 1 year, 2 years, maybe there is some maintenance, means some lights are not working, some occasion is there, I want to change the paints, everything. So we are using that product and we go for the maintenance. So these are all the common phases for the building. But we don't want to write all these pages to construct a building. Internally we can follow all these process compulsory. So same process you go for this software. How to develop a software in that? That is called as SDLC, Software Development Life Cycle. So in this SDLC also same sum. Here what are the main requirements? Land, material, manpower, money. As a owner, it is our responsibility to gather all these. And what about case of the software? So first phase of the software is requirements. First phase is requirement. Who will gather these requirements? Who will gather the requirements? As a developer, they are gathering the requirements, or as a test engineer, we are gathering the requirements? No. Who will gather the requirements? In company, some people are there. Those are called as BA. Business analyst interact with the client, and he will gather the data from the client. So that is called as a requirements gathering. BM is business analyst, will interact with the client and gather all the data. So the gathered information, they can make it as a BRS. That is called as business requirement specification. Some companies call it as URS, user requirement specification. Some companies they can call it as SRS. All are same. BRS, URS or SRS. business requirement specification, user requirement specification, software or system requirement specification. So what it will describe, what the containing in this BRS. Suppose client needs some application. What is this user business needs? How many users are there for that application? What are the required services for those users? Every information is available in this BRS documentation. Later on we will discuss in detail about this SDLC process. Initially I will give only brief description about this SDLC, software development lifecycle. So BA will interact with the client and gather the data, make it as a document as BRS, URS and SRJ. Once requirements are completed, these BRS will be given to the system analyst. Second phase is analysis. Requirements will be analyzed. And we have to develop an application means we need some front-end technologies are there, back-end technologies. To develop an application, front-end technologies are, suppose if it is a web application, we go for Java, .NET, PHP are there. If we go for the back-end, Oracle, MySQL, SQL Server, database are there. So in system analyst, he will review the BRS document and he will prepare one document that is called as FRS, means functional requirement specification. What it will describe? Each and every functionalities of every component, each and every functionalities of the component. So what is the functionalities? What is the functional? Suppose I have an application is there. In that there are some buttons, everything is there. If you clicking on that button, it will display something. If you go to the Gmail application, in that some next button, sign in button is there. If you click on that next button, is it ask the password? When it will ask the password? Whenever we are providing user ID, then it will ask. So all the individual component functionalities are available in this FRS documentation. Functional requirement specification. These two will be given to the DA, design architect. He will prepare one document that is called as design documents. In this design, he will prepare three types of documents: GUI designing, database designing, application designing. GUI means graphical user interface. Database means every application have front-end functionalities are there, back-end database is there. For every application, we need some tables are required. So how many tables are required for my project? What are the relation between those tables? Is there any constraints are there? Everything will be available in this database. And application. Again in the application there are some high-level designing, low-level designing are there. High-level means how many modules are there in my application and what are the internals of each and every module that is available in this low-level designing. So based on BRS and FRS, design architect, you will prepare the design documentation. So based on this designing, coding will be done by the developers. That is called as coding. Who will perform it? Developer will perform. The output of this phase is SD, source code document. So once the coding is completed, they will release the source code. Now this application is given to the test engineers for the testing purpose. Now our role will come here. QA, quality analyst. As a QA, if we are performing testing, we can call it as a system testing. Now tell me, what is the testing? So here one application is, who will develop this application? Developers will develop an application based on this client requirement. So as a test engineer, QA, our responsibility is this application is properly working or not based on this requirement. That is called as a testing. One application given by the developers, is it properly working or not based on the client requirement? That is called as a testing. So in this testing, there are different phases are there. Okay. As a test engineer, if we are performing testing, that is called as system testing. Once we completed testing, it is handed out to the client. So client also perform the testing. That type of testing is called as UAT, user acceptance testing. Whether the application is ready for the release or not, that is called as UAT. So as a QA we are performing system testing, client will perform the UAT. So in all these phases, testing is one of the very important phase in SDLC. This is SDLC is very important to the developers. So what is the testing means? When application is properly working or not based on the client requirements is called as a testing. How to perform testing? How to perform testing? For that, in testing there is one life cycle is there, that is called as STLC, software testing life cycle. SDLC describe software development life cycle, STLC describe software testing life cycle. It is important to the test engineer. So there are different phases are there. Test initiation, test planning, some test case designing, execution, defect reporting, test closure. Test initiation, test planning, test case designing, execution, defect reporting, test closure. Later on we will discuss. All these 6 phases are very important to the test engineer. This SDLC is important to the developers. Once it is okay, they can release into the market. That is called as release. And after that, client want to add some new features and may delete the feature. That is called as maintenance of the application. So these are all the phases in SDLC: requirements gathering, requirements analysis, design, coding, testing, release and maintenance. So all these SDLC phases are very important to the developer. So like this, one application is developed by the developers. So how to test it? In SDLC we will discuss. Software testing life cycle we will discuss. Like this, we can develop one application. Now come to the software. So in this software, generally 2 types of softwares are there. System software and application software. System software and application software. So what is the system software? System software means it is nothing but a BIOS, basic input and output system. These are provide the interface between the system components. Examples are operating system, device drivers. All these are comes under our system software. Application software is nothing but front end application. Every application have front end is there, back end is there. The front end application is called as our application software. So to manipulate data into database, I need some application, that is called as our application software. So in this application software, again some different types are there. Some desktop applications, web applications, mobile applications, different types are there. As a test engineer, we are testing 3 types of application: a desktop application, or web application, or mobile applications. So in this software is properly working or not, that is called as the software testing. Software testing. So what are the software testing techniques are there? How to testing means STLC phases. So what are the software testing techniques? Any organization, whatever it is, only 2 types of testings are there. One is manual testing and one more is automation testing. Manual testing and automation testing. What is the difference between manual testing and automation testing? Manual testing means, suppose one application is there, we are testing application without using any tool. As a test engineer, directly we are interacting with an application and we can find out the functional behavior of application. We are finding mistakes in that application. That is called as a manual testing part. Manual testing means without using any tool, as a test engineer, directly interact with an application and find out the mistakes. That is called as a manual testing. In manual testing, there are two types of testings are there. One is static testing and one more is dynamic testing. Static and dynamic. Static means, yes, without execution of application and without executing programs, find out the mistakes. That is called as static. It is called as a verification part. Dynamic means at the time of execution, time of application only it is possible to find out the mistakes. That is called as a dynamic testing. So in manual testing we have both static testing is there, dynamic testing is there. So what are the static testing techniques? There are different static testing techniques are there. At the time of dynamic testing also different testing techniques are there, testing methodologies, some white box, black box, yes, gray box, different methodologies are there. Later on we will discuss each and everything. What is the white box testing? What is the black box testing? What is the gray box testing? Everything we will discuss. So for this manual testing, as a test engineer, we are deriving, yes, test cases to validate an application. As a tester, we are preparing the test cases. That is only the main task in this manual testing part. What is a test case? What are the types of test cases are there? How to prepare test cases for the application? These things are important in case of manual testing part. Later part we will discuss one by one. What is test case, types of test cases, how to prepare the test cases. Now come to the automation part. What is an automation testing? What is an automation? Yes, by using some tool. Okay. As a test engineer, we can test one application by using some scripting language or some programming language or any third party tool. That is called as automation testing. As a test engineer and one application, one tool is there. By using that tool, we are testing an application. That is called as automation testing. Simply we can tell that the process of converting test cases into test scripts. So here we are preparing test scripts by using any tool. By using any tool. That is called as our automation. So what is an automation? The process of converting test cases into the test scripts is called as a automation testing. Why we go for automation? Is there any advantage is there? Why we go for automation? Is there any advantage? Yes, there are some advantages are there. We can save the time. We can reduce cost to the company. One time we can generate the script, multiple times we can use it. We can get accuracy in results. Tool will provide the test report also. So all these are advantages for automation. In automation already we discussed about all these advantages and everything. And what are the automation tools are there? Different tools are there. Functional tools, defect tracking tools, yes, performance tools, secure tools, multiple tools are there. All these are we had discussed already in automation part. Today we go for this manual testing part. So what are the different testing techniques are there? Some functionality testing, non-functionality, static testing, dynamic testing, white box, black box, yes, usability, GUI, smoke testing, and multiple different testing techniques are there. There are 26 testing techniques are there. Smoke, sanity, retesting, regression, exploratory, mutation, unit testing, integration, multiple are there. So all these testing techniques we will discuss in this manual testing part. Now, so already we discussed software testing means verification part and validation part. So verification and validation of an application is called as a testing. So verification means, yes, whether an application is properly implemented or not is called as a verification. The implemented software meets the customer requirements or not is called as a validation part. Yes, verification is also called as Yes, static testing. Validation is also called as dynamic testing. Already we discussed about these two. Verification. Now, what is the main intention of testing? What is the main intention of the testing? Yeah, previously something they're telling, find out errors, find out defects, find out bugs, something is. Yes. What is the main intention of software testing? The main purpose of software testing is to identify the defects in an application. To identify the defects in an application. Now my question is, what is a defect? What is a defect? Error in application. So is it a defect? Okay. So what is an error? What is an error? What is a bug? So what is an error? What is a bug? What is a defect? Is there any difference is there? So first we go for defect. What is a defect? Suppose there is some calculator is there. There is some calculator is there. Okay. So if I want to check that calculator, I want to perform some operations on that calculator. I want to perform some calculations. Suppose maybe I want to perform some 4 into 3. Okay. So what is the result? What is your expected result? So there is some expectation is there. That is called as expected results. And what is actual results under calculator? What is the actual results under calculator? So what is our expectation? Yes, my expectation is 12. After clicking on equals, in that calculator is also, if it is displaying 12, it is okay, fine. Maybe that calculator is displaying 7. Is it correct answer? No. So there is some deviation is there between expected results and actual results in AUT. AUT means application under test. Whatever the application we are testing, that is called as AUT. Here we are validating one calculator, it is called as our AUT. Suppose I want to verify some Gmail, that is called as our AUT. If you are checking some other application, that is AUT. So here some deviation is there. So the deviation between expected results and actual results in AUT, that is called as a defect. What is a defect? It is a deviation between expected results and actual results in AUT is called as a defect. Some companies, these defect also called as an issue, or we can call it as incident, or we can call it as fault. So defects can also called as issue, incident or fault. All are the same. Now my next question is, what is a bug? What is a bug? What is the bug? So as a test engineer, when we identify the defects, we are intimated to the developers. We are intimated to the developers. If the developers are accepted the defects, then those are called as a bugs. Once we identify the defects, we are intimated to the developer. If the developers are accepted the defect, then that is called as a bug. Yes, sometimes they can reject the defects also. Then that situation, it is not a bug. Whenever developers are accepted the defects, then only those are called as a bugs. Now, third term is failure. What is the failure? Failure means application is not working. If application is not working, means that is a defect. Then what about the failure? Failure of the application. This is also same, but Whenever the defect is reaches to the end user at the time of live environment, the defects are reaches to end user at the time of live environment, that is called as failure of that application. That is failure. Suppose the live application, I want to book some tickets, I want to book a ticket. Suppose I want to book a ticket from 30th September. After booking, the tickets are booked at 1st October. What is the use? So at the time of live environment, the defect is reaches to the end user, that is called as failure of that application. So if any mistakes are identified by the company test engineer, that is called as a defect. If defects are accepted by the developers, that is called as a bug. If the defects reaches to the end user, that is called as failure of the application. Now my question is, why these defects are present in the application? Why? What is the reason? Why the defects are present in the software or application? Why? Yes, developer's mistake. Due to the human mistake done by the developers while writing the programming, logical and syntax errors. Due to the human mistake done by the developers while writing the programs, logical syntax errors, that is called as an error. So error means in programming any mistake is there, that is called as an error. In programming any mistakes, logical mistakes, syntax errors is there, that is called as an error. Due to this error, front-end application, the functionalities are not working properly. Due to the human mistake done by the developers while developing an application, logical and syntax errors, defects are present in the application. That is about the defect, bug and failure. So as a test engineer, our main role is to identify the defects. Before releasing customer to the application, we can resolve these defects. Without defects, we can hand over to the application. That is the main intention of the test engineer. Now, at the time of testing, developing software, there are some activities are there. There are 5 activities are there. Some of the other activities are, first activity is coding activity. First activity is coding. Coding means, yes, writing the programs to develop an application, that is called as a coding. So based on user requirements, we are performing some programming, that is called as coding. Who will done it? Developers will perform the coding. Once coding is done, application is ready. It is given to the testing purpose. The second activity of application is testing. For this coding, there is one life cycle is there. That life cycle is SDLC, software development life cycle. For this testing, one life cycle is there, STLC, software testing life cycle. How to test one application. At the time of testing, definitely we are identifying some defects in the application. We are intimated to the developer. The third activity is defect reporting. The third activity is defect reporting. Defect reporting means notifying about the defects to the developers is called as a defect reporting. It is done by either manually or by using some defect tracking tools. Bugzilla, Zira, QC, some tools are there. So here also some life cycle is there in case of manual procedure. BLC, bug life cycle. Once we are intimated defects to the developer, they can modify the source code, they can give the modified build. That is called as that activity bug fixing. Modifying the source code of application to resolve the defects, that is called as bug fix. To perform bug fixing, they can use some debugging. What is the debugging? Debugging is nothing but in any programming language, debugging is there. Step-by-step execution process to find out root cause for an error. Wherever the error is there, they can find out by using this debugging. So all these are called as some of the activities for your project. Some of the activities. coding, testing, defect reporting, bug fixing, and debugging activity. So that is about some of the different activities are there in the testing. Okay. So in this SDLC, already we discussed requirements, analysis, design, coding, testing, release, and maintenance. Second one is testing. This is very important to the test engineer. Whatever the phases are there, how to perform testing activities, what are the types of testing activities are there. Next session we will discuss about this SDLC procedure.